The Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Tallen, has listed out some of the achievements recorded by the ministry since her assumption of office. In her address at the 22nd National Council on Women Affairs, Tallen said the ministry prioritized girl-child education as well as other vices that disproportionately affects the health of women and children. The theme for this year's NCWA meeting is Gender Inclusivity and Women Economic Empowerment, making the change work for women and children.
Upon my resumption in office in 2019, I was mindful of the 9-point priority project deliverables for the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs hinged on federal government priority areas of our Area 7, which is enhance social inclusion and reduce poverty. These targets from the benchmark upon which our performance are rated. We prioritize education of the girl child, which is top on our agenda, gender-based violence, social, cultural inequalities, and other harmful practices that disproportionately affect the health of women and children. We focus on inclusive interventions towards enhancing the socio-economic development of Nigeria for impactful outcomes in line with the Economic Sustainability Plan and the Sustainable Development Goals.
Speaking at the event, President of the NCWS, Aisha Adamulau, said that no nation can develop holistically when they fail to harness the potentials of women participation in the society, therefore demands for gender inclusion in politics.
No nation can develop holistically when they exclude, hereby fail to harness the immense potentials of women and children. We dare say without any atom of doubt that the meaningful participation of women is a critical ingredient for sustainable economic development and reliance. We demand gender inclusion in leadership and decision-making spaces, at least to meet the 35% affirmative action. Government should provide opportunities to empower women as a means to reduce poverty and vulnerability. We want gender-sensitive national budgets to support the implementation of the VAP law and other protocols for the protection of women's rights.
On her part, the UN Women Nigeria, Mrs. Beatrice Ayon, said for women empowerment to be achieved, resources has to reach the appropriate channels.
Women, we are working on the following areas. One, we are working to promote women's representation in decision-making positions. 2, economic empowerment of women and girls. 3, fighting against gender-based violence. 4, gender-responsive planning and budgeting. That helps that resources go where and to whom the resources are needed. We also work in women, peace and security, disaster reduction and humanitarian action.
Earlier on Wednesday, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Women Affairs, Alhaji Aliyu Shinkafi, has reiterated the commitment of the ministry for economic empowerment as well as inclusion for all women. The Permanent Secretary further said that the Council has agreed that all states should establish a situation room to address the issue of gender-based violence.
established by our development partners. That is what they assisted and also assisted development.
On the issue of women empowerment, CEO of Women Chambers of Commerce, Agriculture, Mines and Industry, Hajia Zainab Muhammad, described women as vocal cords for sustainable growth of a nation.
We cannot go forward without women, in spite of the efforts of women to strive to the higher place in the society. They are still at great disadvantage and seen as inferior by their male counterparts. And all sectors that crave for growth and development need women with their dexterity to drive the wheel of this country forward.
There were goodwill messages by dignitaries present.
If you live in Abuja or Lagos, it's peanuts. And you go to a restaurant and you spend 20,000. But when you go to our markets, in our towns and villages, before you even enter the market, you see women on the street with their baskets selling tomatoes and oranges. They can't even afford a store in the market. Their network is 5,000 naira. That's what they come to the market. That's their network. And then you're giving that woman 10,000 or 20,000 naira. You've changed her life forever.
Without those legal frameworks, we would not be able to function. And today, because of what you have done, the commissioners of women affairs have been able to face gender-based violence in defense in the state of the Federation. And I want to promise you in a short while that will be a thing of the past.
Gender equality and women's empowerment is not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. And that's a basic message. And then why is it the smart thing to do? Because the basic message is that it's not just about, that women's empowerment, gender equality is something that's morally and kind of culturally, it's the right thing to do. If governments around the world want to eliminate poverty, want nations to prosper, gender equality and women's empowerment is absolutely